Thanks for joining us again on GBGuns. We've got another Citadel 1911 in. This is the Warbird, and it is beautiful. We'll be doing our tabletop coming up next on GBGuns. So, gorgeous, gorgeous gun. A really cool Cerakote job. More on that in a second. It does come with 2 magazines. These are ACT mags, 8-round magazines because it's a commander-sized gun. Let's see what else we get. Up top, we've got the original grips that came on the gun from the factory, in case you don't want to use the pretty ones. Don't know why. The test round, feels like there's 2 in there. Looks like this gun was built in July of 2018. That's when it was inspected. Obligatory lock. And let's take a look at the Citadel Owner's Manual. See what get rather simplistic, no photos. Sorry folks, if you're new to 1911s, you might want to find some photos or watch the rest of this video to figure out how to get this thing apart. With the case out of the way, let's take a look at the gun. It's just pretty, isn't it? Let me zoom in a little bit so you can get a little better picture there. Alright, first checking for clear first. Tight spring, and let's do our walk around. So up front we see right away this is a bushingless system. Has a pseudo bushing for the guide rod. It is a full length guide rod. More on that in a second. Nice clean front end. No rail. Keeping things classic. In fact, even the front sight post is just a broad blade. But the Cerakote job, really cool. Like that tiger mouth with the eyes on top. Citadel branding is not bad. I know some people don't like having stuff on the side of their slide. I don't think that's obnoxious at all. Cool little rivet job and this nice kind of battle-worn finish on here. And one thing that I appreciate about the battle-worn on this is when you have a Cerakote job this pretty, it's a shame to have it scuffed up by a lot of holster use. And it's nice that they battle-wore in all the spots where a holster would likely mess up the finish in the first place, so you don't have to worry about that so much. It's an all-metal gun, of course. Our as far as checkering and trigger guard and all that is standard classic 1911. Good radius, and the gun is still big enough for my hand to fit on it properly. Give you a look at those grips. Nice little rivet job on there. And we've got the Air Force style emblem, B6, a random nomenclature type thing. I love the detail on here. You see the checkers on the back like on a P-51. You can see why this is called Warbird. We do have a flat mainspring housing that is nicely checkered, an extended grip safety and beaver tail to make sure you're not getting any hammer bite out of this guy. Extended safety is ambidextrous on both sides, obviously. And Misbehavin' is the nose art style that was put on this. Looks like our ejection port has been opened up a bit. That aids in reliability. Good tight lockup of the barrel. Slide to frame fit. A little bit of play. Sometimes little play helps with reliability. We do have 2 non-colored dots on the rear sight here. So it's basically an all black sight picture. Not tacticooled with the one-handed rack ramp. This is before, when having it non-snag was the cool thing. Trends change. Next we'll field strip this thing and take a look inside the gun. So there's more than one way to skin a cat, proverbially, and there's more than one way to field strip a 1911, and some of that depends on the build. This guy has a full-length guide rod, which is seen as a plus by many for aiding in reliability and accuracy. It also, however, makes field stripping a little bit different than your standard barrel bushing style short guide rod. So there's a little hole in this guide rod that's right down in there underneath the barrel, and you have to reach in there with a tool. The good news is you can make one of those tools. Making one of those just requires a paper clip. That's what I've used. it slides in there, get in the hole, and set it forward. And what that's going to do is prevent the slide from coming forward. We can now release the pressure off the spring there and see how that's staying locked together. We're now going to move the slide until this round cutout is over the raised part of the slide stop and release. Push on the pin from the other side. Pull that pin straight out. We can now remove the slide from the frame. Now this paperclip is holding all the force of that spring, and it is a strong spring, but I'll show you what's neat is, since you don't really need to disassemble that part of it, leave it there trapped, and we can see the bushing setup. It's on this steel guide rod, and our paperclip there struggling to hold everything in place. We can now bring our barrel straight out the front, and we've field stripped the gun. Take a look at our frame. Looks a little bit dry. I'm gonna grab one of my wipes and apply some lubrication / get off the factory dust where possible. Now, I run most of the guns when we review them as they come out of the box, minus any basic loving care that someone might want to apply, which in this case would be just a little bit of lube on these rails and clean off some of that. It's kind of hard to tell with this aluminum colored Cerakote job that's on here what's dry and what's just the coating. Of course, Cerakote itself functions as a lubricant. We can see we've got a nice polished feed ramp there. Taking a look at our barrel, you can see that little flare, that trumpet shape, if you will. That's what helps align it all. Got a nice polished throat on the barrel. I've always wondered why pistol makers go with this exposed or stainless top and then melanite or parkerize or whatever the rest of the barrel. I prefer the stainless look, but that's a preference thing. Some people like them dark. I guess this gives you a little bit of both. We can see that this is definitely a 70s series. What I mean by that is we do not have a safety plunger in here. 70s series is known or regarded as having a better trigger feel because you've got less mechanism to interact with as you pull the trigger. I've felt some pretty good 80 series, but a good 80 series still just matches a basic 70 series. So I can kind of understand the love-hate there with 70 series. We don't see any machining. Of course we can't because of the Cerakote that went inside and out, but that does, however, mean that we're not going to have any exposure to elements inside and out thanks to the Cerakote. So that's a positive. Get this back together and I'll show you what the trigger is like on these as it comes out of the box. Barrel back in. We want that dongle to be free. We take our recoil assembly and slide it back through. Of course, the Mickey Mouse ears go towards the barrel. I think my paperclip is interfering. There we go. I mean, this is an Ed Brown custom paperclip. It should just work right away. Oh, kidding. But basically, yeah, to shape the paperclip that way, the first time you use it, you'll want to remove the slide and I use the edge of my bench to apply that pressure, stick the clip in until it's right at the edge, so you can see there, and then let the slide slowly close on it, and it will form this paperclip to a custom full-length guide rod tool. Pretty easy. Slide back on the frame. We want to look through this hole for that piece there to be hanging down, and looks like it moved a little bit on us. You're welcome to comment with the technical term for that piece. It escapes me at the moment. With that window lined up there so you can see through it, we're going to drop the pin in, but not all the way. Bring the slide back until that relief is over the hole there, and then we'll push straight in, straight as we can. There we go. Lock the slide to the rear. Now we can remove our paperclip tool let the slide go home, quick functions check, and guess what? The gun's back together. Now onto that trigger. So up close, and I don't show weights because, as you'll find with more shooting experience, trigger weight is not nearly as important as feel. I've shot great guns with 8-pound triggers and garbage guns with 4-pound triggers or 3-pound triggers. So weight is really just a number. I know it gives it a measurable, well, a number. It gives you something that you can get excited about that way, but really it's all about feel for shooting. So we've got our take up to a clean wall. Very crisp break, as we expect from a 1911. Our reset, for those of you that trap the triggers and shoot reset like I do. Come out to the click. We have a little bit of slack again, but right back to that wall. Good shooter. So we'll get this out to the range. I know Burgundy Bomber, being a 1911 fan, is very excited about this one. And I mean, heck, it's even got the nose art in red. This is so her kind of gun. But and Matty AR, who used to not like 45, is coming around to 45. So between the three of us, you'll have 3 varying levels of experience and opinions. We'll also run a what's for dinner through it with using, well, hollow points of various loads, since for some reason the old FUD lore that 1911s don't like hollow points is still out there. Guess what? This gun has changed a little bit over the last 100 years. But anyways, we'll run some different loads through it, and we'll shoot groups with it and give you our opinions on it in an upcoming video. Let me know what your thoughts are on this guy. It is beautiful. I love that look. I think this might be a barbecue gun. We'll see how it does on the range. To see if it's a barbecue gun you can also enjoy at the range. I know that Cerakote should provide a long-lasting good looks, so you don't have to worry about fouling it up by shooting it. But we'll find out. Thanks for watching.